where it came from, and how its deeply rooted legacy was built. Part 1. Defining the Era, 1890 to 1965. So what exactly was this? Well, it wasn't just a set of casual social customs or informal prejudices, It was a massive, comprehensive system established by formal judicial decree and incredibly restrictive laws. And a really important piece to remember is that it was strictly enforced by law enforcement from 1890 all the way to 1965. It was literally the absolute law of the land. Now, you might notice a specific stylistic choice as we go through this. We are deliberately using lowercase letters for the name. We write lowercase Jim Crow intentionally. Why do we do that? It's to visually signify respect withheld. It's just a powerful way for us to look at and analyze this history without honoring the oppressive system itself. Part 2. Origins of the name, minstrel to law. Let's jump back to 1828. Originally, Jim Crow was just the name of a minstrel routine performed by a guy named Thomas Dartmouth Rice, and it spread like wildfire as other imitators copied it. It was a completely demeaning caricature. But fast forward to 1890, and the courts actually ruled that racial separation was totally legal. So it started as an act of cruel on-stage mockery, morphed into severe legal doctrine. And that launched an era that didn't officially come to a close until 1965. The absolutely crucial point here is how this was legally justified back in that 1890 ruling. The infamous phrase that basically gave legal cover for nationwide segregation was this: separate but equal. The courts tried to argue that, hey, as long as facilities were provided for both races, separation was perfectly fine. But this perfectly illustrates the core deception of the entire era. On one side, sure, you have the formal legal doctrine saying separate but equal. But on the other side, you have the harsh reality, rarely equal. The facilities were practically never equal, not in quality, not in funding, and definitely not in maintenance. And this intentional, built-in inequality is what fundamentally defined the whole system of segregation. Part 3. Systematic segregation, the daily impact. I actually want to slow down for a second here just to really let the sheer, overwhelming scope of segregation sink in. So many aspects of everyday life were forcefully separated. Drinking fountains and bathrooms, telephones and entrances to buildings, housing and public parks, swimming pools and beaches, jobs, schools, hospitals, nursing homes, even cemeteries. Right from birth all the way to death, the separation was absolute and it was completely inescapable. And maintaining those strict boundaries, that was deadly serious. During the Jim Crow era, stepping outside these lines, doing completely mundane actions like just trying to eat inside a restaurant, moving into certain neighborhoods, riding in the front of a bus, or simply trying to cast a vote, those things could literally be lethal for Black people. The consequences for ordinary, everyday living were violently policed. Part 4. The true purpose, foundational motives. So I want you to consider this question for a moment. Why was this immensely comprehensive, exhausting system implemented in the first place? Why go to such incredible lengths and expend so much effort just to meticulously enforce this separation? Well, step 1, it really began with an inability to accept freedom and a flat-out refusal to see Black people as human beings. Step 2, that blatant dehumanization led to treating them like animals. But step 3, this is the structural key right here, imposing an economic lockout. By dehumanizing an entire group of people, this system basically justified severe restrictions that were designed specifically to prevent their upward mobility. To pull it all together, let's look at who the enforcers actually were. It wasn't just a few rogue individuals. It was the US government, actively enforced by police and very often the general public. And the core category of this entire system? Wealth prevention. It was essentially a massive economic lockout strategy disguised as social order. As for its current status, while it's technically inactive on the books today, its impacts are absolutely still reverberating through our modern society. The Jim Crow era may not be on the law books today, but we really have to ask ourselves, how much of that foundational architecture of wealth prevention are we still living within? Subscribe to Black History Minute for more Black history information.
And now, here's your Black History Minute.